Welcome to the Innovator Coffee, a podcast that bridges the gap between people and the world of AI and innovation. Follow us to explore the top AI applications, ecosystem insights, and the emerging trends. Today, we're honored to have the Pengpeng Wang, Head of Community and Campus at StartX. She's also the Stanford GSB alumni. And welcome.
Very welcome. Perhaps it's time to join us. StartX has a very good reputation among the people who are doing startups. So could you introduce a little bit about the StartX and its role, background and origins, and what inspired its founding?
Thanks for having me, Tom and Wiki. So I joined StartX last year as the head of community and campus, but my relationship with StartX started when I was back in GSB. I was a volunteer at StartX and fell in love with this community. So at its very core, StartX is a community. This is, I think, one biggest difference of StartX versus other accelerators you see. We started because our founder, Cameron, he did a research, all the Stanford founders in the past, who were successful, who were not, and what made them successful. He found that there are three things that made the founder successful. A startup founder successful. Number one, speed. Number two, a community where the founder feels safe to share its challenges and get support from. And number three, collective information, intelligence, and bargaining as a group. So based on that findings, he created StartX so that founders can feel comfortable and supported in the community. And that includes mentors, other founders, and a lot of the Stanford community network, right? And also we collectively provide information about who's a good investor, who's a good corporate partner, what's going on in the entrepreneurial world. And also we collectively bargain, provide a lot of perks and resources for founders. So that's how StartX started. And today we have 2,500 founders in our community and 1,000 companies.
Thanks.
Very impressive community. And how does the StartX differ from Y Combinator and other accelerators?
Yeah, as I mentioned, at our very core, it's a community. We don't take any equity, and we are actually a nonprofit. So the goal of this nonprofit community is just to support Stanford affiliate founders to succeed. It has a very interesting implication when you don't take any equity from your founders, because we are no longer producing a startup. If you look at our admission criteria, we don't really ask a lot of questions about a company's, say, the market, their business model, and if investing in that company will make us money in the future. We cared more about if this is a great founder, passionate, committed to doing what he or she is doing, if the team has great dynamics, and if the team has great results, great execution, can they actually deliver what they're passionate about? A lot of our founders in our community, they probably moved on doing a lot of other things later. But for us, as long as they are StartX founder, they are part of the community. When you invest in a company, I think the dynamics change. It's a little bit more transactional, and you would think about, if I say this in this community, would I not get funding next, right? Or you're competing against each other for funding. So I think for me, it would be this nonprofit zero equity would be our first difference. The second difference, I think, is the diversity of our community. We are very much close to Stanford, right? So the composition of our community very much reflects what Stanford has been doing. So in our community, you see a lot of enterprise SaaS companies, consumer tech companies as every other accelerators. But you also see a lot of healthcare founders because Stanford Medical School is very strong. We have a very strong hardware sector because of the engineering school. We have very strong tech founders. because of the education school, and also some nonprofit founders as well. So I think that's another differentiation that makes us unique.
From what I heard, there is something very unique here. First of all, it's kind of like a truly angel, right? No equity acquired, but offer a lot of warm and intimate environment, right? And also, it's kind of like the lifelong membership. Once you're in the community, which is very good.
Our accelerator is more like an induction to this lifelong community. It's not about rigorous curriculum. It's about connecting them to some of the existing founders in our community, helping them know each other, and introducing them all the perks and benefits of this community, and having them attend to 150 events we have each year so that they know how to navigate, and then they join. The only thing we ask people is, because a lot of people ask us, what's the catch, right? This sounds too good to be true. You don't charge us money, you don't take any equity, you give us all this kind of, free stuff. There must be some catch. The only, I guess, ask we have for our community members is they pay it forward to other people. They help other founders in our community. And that's how we, I guess we are still operating after 15 years.
I just feel like it's truly like a Silicon Valley spirit, right? Ford is right here.
I do want to emphasize that we're not exactly competing against a lot of other accelerators because we don't take equity, right? So it's more of a complementary to a lot of other programs the founders are doing.
They serve Stanford alumni, right?
Sorry, what's that?
This program only serves Stanford alumni, right?
Well, predominantly, yes. At least one of the co-founders on the team needs to be a Stanford affiliated person. It could be a professor, could be an alumni, could be a current student. But we also have a small program that's called Visiting Founder Program. It's open to people that are not Stanford affiliated, but they need to have at least 3 StartX founders to endorse them in order to join.
I see.
As we noticed that the StartX application has started a new round. So do you have tips for those people who do applications to StartX? How do you typically select them? And as you say that you don't take equity any from them. So could you share more how you are going to support those founders? Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I can start with the first. Let's see. As I mentioned, our criteria are actually very different from a typical accelerator in that we don't ask you a lot about your business. We don't ask, what's the TAM of your market? What's the competitive landscape? What's your go-to-market model? No, we care a lot about the founders. So how do we assess that, right? We assess the founder if that founder is passionate and committed, meaning, so is he willing to do this full time? And is he or she, does she or he have the background to do this? For example, if it's a PhD student or a professor who has been doing this for many years, that shows some commitment and passion, right? Or if it's a recent idea, the founder needs to at least be willing to do this full time instead of just, let me try it out. So showing that passion is number one. Number two, all of our interviews are conducted in group. So we invite all the co-founders into the interview, right? So being able to show that you have complementary skills and you have worked together for a long time, and the chemistry, right? We have a lot of interesting questions to test it out. Like, for example, we also ask about the equity split, right? Be ready to answer those questions. And also, sometimes we challenge, why is your equity split this way, right? And a lot of founders were not prepared to answer that question, but I think it's a very important question to think through. And the third one is execution. It's a little different from the business questions in that we don't really care specifically what you do, but if this is what you want to do, show us the results You need to have some early traction. You need to show like you're a hustler. So those three are the top criteria, and I would suggest candidates to prepare accordingly. But one quick thing is our interview is really short. The first round is only 6 minutes, and we have 3-4 judges sometimes on the call. We want to have a big group because we want to hear very diverse and balanced views from our judges. So as you can imagine, each one of them may have some questions. So you need to answer that in a really, really short, maybe just 1 or 2 sentences. So be very succinct. That would be my advice.
I'm just curious, right? What's the most interesting questions and answers you heard so far?
Answer, I'm not sure, but the most interesting question I think we have is, who's the smartest on your team?
Oh, that's very challenging.
Or, what's the biggest weakness of your co-founder, right? So I think, those are really interesting questions for you to see the dynamics among the team, right? Some teams can just laugh it off and can give you a candid answer. Some would just throw them off, right? And just scrambling to come up with a question, with the answer.
That's very interesting. You also mentioned, right, this is a lifelong community, and a lot of founders involved in this community for long term, right? So I'm just curious, for this community-driven group, for the long-term involvement, what kind of support you guys can provide to the founders?
Yeah, that's a great question. As I mentioned, we believe this community is the core product of StartX. So people, that's the most important thing. If I have to break it down, right? So I think number 1 is community. Number 2 would be mentorship, which is also related to people. Number 3 is perks and resources. That goes back to Cameron's original collective bargaining, collective resources. And lastly is education. I can share a little bit on each one of them. So on community, we have 150 events every year, and a lot of them are in person. Hopefully that would facilitate a lot of connection among our community. We also have an online database of all the 2,500 founders in our community, and for them to easily connect with each other and see their profile. We have a very special format called neighborhood. So basically founders that are accepted in our cohort, they will be assigned a group of other founders at the similar stage or even similar industry, and they meet every other week to discuss challenges or progresses, share their best practices with each other. That has been consistently ranked as one of the most important resources for our founders, because as a founder, it sometimes can be really lonely. You need someone who understands what you're going through, who can share or brainstorm with you. And some of the things you can't even talk to your co-founder, for example. Maybe if you have a co-founder breakup idea that you're thinking about, right? But you need to share this in a very safe and secure environment. That's how they find this neighborhood helpful. And that's just an example of this community, right? At GSB, actually, we had something similar called Touchy Feely. I don't know, Tom, if you have ever heard about it. So this is basically Touchy Feely for StartX founders. The second pillar I mentioned is mentorship. We do pair each startup with 5 mentors. So one is the lead mentor who meets with the founder every other week for an hour or more to discuss any questions the founder has. And we also pair them with 4 other what we call board advisor mentors. So that is a way for us to stimulate a board environment. So we pair them with 4 different kinds of mentors, right? There's investors usually, there's independent, there is more experienced founders, and there's one the founder him or herself sourced. So, and every other week the founder will talk to this board of people, and hopefully this process will prepare the founder to better manage their board in the future. And on the third one, I mentioned resources and perks. We provide, we don't charge people money, but we provide $1.5 million like equivalent of resources, free credits, perks to founders. We partner with JP AWS, Google, all sorts of other corporate partners. And we also have a free working space at our office. For healthcare founders, we have a lab in our building too. And lastly, we also have a job board for them to recruit a lot of Stanford students. And what else? In an investor database, we have an online fundraising platform. And lastly, on the education, we have like a library of all the historical workshops or talks, playbooks that founders can access online. I think most importantly, it's just those in-person events where we invite experts to come back for workshops. I think at this age, right, like every access a lot of online materials. It's not really our core mission to be a educational institution. We want people to learn from each other by connecting them.
Yeah, truly it sounds like too good to be true. It's kind of like a Santa Claus style, right? Give all the gift, all those like private board, right, for each founders, and free resource for like funding or like supporting, and also has like a lifelong supporting system from peers. I'm just curious, right? What's the percentage of the acceptance rate for this program?
Yeah, it is competitive, and considering that we only recruit from Stanford founders, right? And that's already a very, very niche pool of founders. We all know Stanford is the #1 university that produces high quality, even unicorn founders, unicorn companies. And we select based on that very high quality founders. So it's a very tough process for us sometimes to pick the founders. Usually, I think the acceptance rate is under 10%, considering like how good those applicants already are. It's low percentage. But another thing I want to highlight is that we don't have a quota, like or minimum or maximum number that we can accept each year. As long as a founder meets our criteria, like the 3 criteria I mentioned, we accept them. So yeah, the number of the size of the cohort each year just varies a lot.
Like, can you give like a rough range, like 100?
Yeah, it's around 50 to 70 companies each cohort, and we have 3 cohorts each year.
Given that the StartX has a strong role of Stanford affiliation, you have already mentioned, how that influence the access and talent and trust in the whole community?
And speaking of, I guess, access to talent, so part of the value I think StartX provides to our founders is to connect them back to the Stanford ecosystem. Tom, I know you're a Stanford alumni. Like when you just graduate, you are still kind of connected with Stanford, right? But when you after 5 years or 10 years, it's really hard to keep plugged in that ecosystem. But with StartX, we have a lot of different ways to collaborate with Stanford. For example, we co-teach a lot of classes with Stanford. We provide mentors to Stanford students, who are interested in doing a startup. We also we give back to the campus by doing events like Campus Demo Day, inviting a lot of our startup founders and connect them with students, either to inspire them or to hire those students, after they graduate. As example, right, next Tuesday, I'm doing 2 events on campus. My role, head of community and campus, right? So this is a big part of my role. In the afternoon, I will go teach a class with the School of Education, and I'm bringing me 4 founders from our community to help those students refine their startup pitch. So that's one. And after that, I'm doing a StartX info session with Stanford Biotech Group. I'm also bringing with me 3 biotech and healthcare founders with me to do a panel with students and also share a little bit more about StartX so that interested students can apply for this cohort. So that's just a snapshot, of what I do. I do also attend a lot of career fairs on campus on behalf of our founders.
Yeah, just curious, right? For this program, do you guys only accept the profit generation company, or also a nonprofit has a portion?
Yeah, we don't, as I said, we don't really care that much about the business. We care about if it's a good founder. So we have a couple actually pretty good nonprofit founders in our community too. And the fact that we also have a high percentage of healthcare and edtech founders, right? And hardware founders. Those sectors usually take a long time to profit. And, the investment is really high. So a lot of VCs wouldn't invest in those type of companies. But for us, as long as a good founder, we welcome them to join. I think going back to also, I guess, Tom, your question on trust, I think because of this community of everyone being Stanford, and it's zero equity, right? People do just care about each other and want to give back. Part of the reason why I joined, I was helping a StartX founder before I joined StartX, and then I was helping him on some fundraising projects, and then every time we had a question or challenge, he would say, okay, let me just email my StartX founders. And then we always got really good replies from all the other founders for free. So I think that's the moment I realized, oh, wow, this is a great community.
Yeah, sounds really good. So regarding the roles of the mentors, and I guess for this program, we don't have LPs, right?
We used to have a fund. With that fund, the LP was Stanford Endowment.
I see. So regarding the mentors, LPs, and the Stanford alumnus in this program, right? I know you already mentioned a lot on how they support the members in this program. Do you want to give us a little bit more information, about how they play their role? Or do they have a unique service in your program?
Sure. So I talked about how we pair them with mentors and the board advisors while they're still in the active cohort, right? I think after they graduate, it's still very easy for them to just reach out to other founders in our community just for a coffee chat. Or, sometimes you don't have to call someone a mentor in order for them to mentor you, right? So I've heard so many great stories of, a StartX founder just writing a random email in the community asking for help, and then other founders will reach out to them and provide help. And a lot of our founders actually later on decide to start a new company with other founders in our community. It's very common. I think, it's just a community of high quality Stanford people, and it's very high density, right, of talents. And usually, as you know, when you put a room of high density talents together, magic just somehow happens. It could be fundraising, it could be finding a co-founder, it could be sales. the same thing happens at Stanford, right? Like when you put so many talented, ambitious, hardworking students the same place, somehow like they get to know each other. Maybe it's from GSB, one is from engineering school, and they just run into each other at a class and they go on and start a company, right? The same thing happens at StartX, except that when you graduate from Stanford, there's not so many places you can go to keep that. So we are like that place for Stanford alumni in the startup world.
Yeah, sounds like a magic place.
Very helpful. Yeah, it reminds me that when I was in Stanford, I go to GSB for a class called Leading Startup. Yeah. We can connect with the departments of people like to form some projects. As you know, I'm doing the AI research and the kind of startup. So I especially care about how StartX has built a strong track record in AI in the recent 2 years, as we know ChatGPT and DeepSeek. So could you share a little bit about this part?
Yeah, sure. I think StartX AI founders have been like around for a long time, even before the ChatGPT moment, just because our proximity to Stanford's cutting edge like AI research labs. We have a lot of PhDs and professors in our community, so I guess we've seen like a lot of AI founders in recent cohorts as well. 60-70% of our current cohort are AI focused. And in the past, for example, I think Turing is also a unicorn company that comes out of our community, and they are doing very exciting AI work right now. So yeah, I think actually part of my role this year is to build this AI vertical for StartX founders, basically just to provide more structured and tailored support so that they can build faster. That means we're doing a lot of AI specific events and programs. We are providing AI specific perks and resources. We are also creating a small group of AI experts, mentors, Stanford faculty, and investors, so that AI founders can get better support. And we are also doing marketing and recruiting for those AI founders. So hopefully we can see more great founders coming out of our community.
I know it's been years this program had a good reputation, right? Can you give us some examples about the outstanding companies and kind of the challenges StartX helped resolve?
As I mentioned, actually, our community over the past 15 years have resulted in a lot of successful companies. Let's see, we have 18 unicorn companies, and we have 165 unicorn companies, and it's actually pretty spread out. I would say the difference of StartX is like the success stories of ours is not just B2B SaaS company. We have, let's see, the Turing that I mentioned, it's like a platform for hiring. We have a lot of biotech companies, what's the name? Orca Bio. We have Lime Bike. That's more on the consumer side. We have some Web3 companies, Alchemy, OpenSea, and B2B SaaS. We have Branch. We have Ethos. And what else? You see a wide variety of unicorn companies across different industries.
Yeah. During their residency, right? Did you see some very hard challenge they have, and how does this community support them to resolve it? Do you have some specific example?
That I don't know, because a lot of the companies were there before me. Hopefully, during my time at StartX, I can witness the next unicorn.
Okay, yeah. we'll have the other session there.
So how does startups usually measure the success among the projects you have beyond the funding raised, right? You say that you kind of have different value with other accelerators. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we do have great numbers around fundraising. I think in total we raised $40 billion, our portfolio companies together. And we've done a study that shows StartX founders on average just raise more than average startup. Also, I think female founders at StartX are 3 times more likely to raise like the same amount of money than other accelerators. But yeah, as you said, fundraising is just one part of the success we are looking for. For us, I think we also really value mission and founder growth. So we look at the founders in our community. Are they diverse? Are they actually solving important problems, not just making money, right? So we have tons of nonprofit founders, education, healthcare, sustainability is actually a big part of our community now because of the new sustainability school at Stanford. Those type of companies, as I mentioned, are probably harder to commercialize or takes longer to commercialize, but we feel it's very important to have someone work on that hard problem. And another thing I think we really care because it's a community, so the engagement of founders is also our key metrics. Are founders still active? Do they still come back to our events? Do they come back as mentors for younger company founders? Do they start a new company with each other? Those kind of metrics we also care a lot. And also the NPS, right? Their satisfaction of the community.
You guys accept for very early stage, or like you guys normally accept like a more mature startup?
I think it's a mix of early and later, but for the active cohorts, usually it's pretty early, like pre-seed, seed, Series A. But because we've been around for 15 years, there's a lot of companies in our community that have grown into later stage, like unicorn or C, D, E.
So as long as they start to have the idea, they can start to apply.
Yeah. Well, actually, the ones that actually got in, usually they have worked on their idea for maybe at least 6 months or a year, because as I mentioned, right, we want to see founder really passionate and committed, and the team can work together if they have some good results. If it's just idea, it's hard to prove all those things. So we welcome a lot of founders that are later stage to join too. Maybe they don't need as much help with product market fit, or even co-founder or team, but as they grow later, they need maybe access to Stanford talents. They need to hire from Stanford. They need to be plugged in the ecosystem. The founder probably wants to interact with other founders. So we do see some later stage companies apply for those reasons.
So should I say once like company has the MVP and then they can start to?
Yeah. I think another thing is if you apply, if you have applied before, it wouldn't hurt a company's chance of getting in. Actually, on average, most companies that are accepted have applied to StartX 2 to 3 times in the past. Yeah, I think the average number is 2.9. So yeah, like if you have started and you want to have some feedback, so after, even if they don't get in, we will provide a lot of feedback so they can work on so they can improve, right? So I think that's a bonus for applicants.
That's cool. I think we had a lot of discussion on the program itself, right? Now we try to move to the founders piece, right? So what's your favorite founders quality?
Let's see. I think, well, as the head of community, I would say helping each other, like, accumulating a lot of the goodwills, because I am a firm believer in community, right? And the community is strong when everyone kind of participates and engage, right? And after you give, you can get as much as you give, right? So I think giving back to the community, helping each other, that's probably, and in the long run, I think that would definitely help founders in very serendipitous way. So I think that would be the top quality.
I have a curious question. I know that you was a venture cap VC before. So as a VC, you favor several founder qualities, right? Now you have become the head of the StartX. So is there any difference between the two roles you take and regarding the favorite founder quality and how you evaluate the startup companies?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, at the very core, I think it doesn't really change, right? And I'm pretty sure you guys have heard a lot about great founder quality, like resilience, like vision, what else? Like humility, passion, things like that. So those I think are still true. That's the same that I had when I was in VC. But now, I think after I joined StartX, I started to witness this power of community. I started to see that are really successful in our community. They are very generous with their time and helping other founders. And that's actually how they got to where they are today. Silicon Valley is just really small community, right? Everyone like in StartX, right? If you know someone, a lot of times relationships compounds. So most of other people in Silicon Valley is just like one email away. So if you help out other founders in this small community, like people would know. And then in a very weird way, good karma would come back to you. Yeah, you need a community where people share that information internally. I've seen like a lot of emails in our community asking, hey, I got a call from this investor. What do you guys think about him? Right? And we've heard like very interesting stories, right? So like just being a good person, helping each other out and build that goodwill will help you go a long way. That's like the kind of story I couldn't the background that I didn't see as the investor because I was on the other side of the table, right?
I know another question is, what do you think is typically the biggest misconception about accelerators normally?
Well, I think, for us, I guess specifically, I think we got a lot of questions. Oh, is your accelerator only for student or unexperienced founders? Or first-time founders. So the truth is 50% of our each cohort are people who are serial founder, who are like industry experts, who are also like Stanford professors. They are coming back, or they have done StartX before and they come back. Why? I think it's because we don't take any equity. And as you become more experienced, what you realize what you really need is a community. You don't really need that much, branding, or I guess you don't want to give out your equity, low amount of money. So that's, I think, a lot of serial founders. They already maybe know how to do it. They don't need like a brand name on their company's website. So yeah. And many repeat founders from StartX, they come back to just reconnect with the community. So I think that's probably like something a lot of people, like a misconception people have.
Yeah, I think this is a very good community with kind of like a flywheel, right? People You guys find out very good people with good quality, and they have their growing mindset. Also try to pay it forward. And then in the future, when the new members coming, all the people try to help out because this paying forward concept, which is really nice. Yeah, we normally ask our guests, right? If you try to recommend one book every founder should read, that should be.
Let me look. I think I have one here. It's called Funding Sales. I think founders, the sales skill is something, especially we see a lot of founders in our community that have more technical background, right? PhD students or professors. So I think learning how to sell is important.
Yeah, that's true. I do see a lot of good products, but it's hard for them to do the go-to-market. And it didn't turns out very well. This is a good book.
Yeah. And it's by Peter Kazan.
Just curious, right? For your program, is it like a full-time program or it's kind of like a night and weekends one?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it depends on the candidate, the applicant. So we have two programs. One is full-time for founders who are working full-time, like on their company. We have a student program that are for students who are, still building the company while in school. But the program by itself is it's not full-time. It's usually 10 weeks, but as I mentioned, everything is opt-in, so they can choose the events or the resources that are helpful for them. We only ask them to be in person for the first 3 days, the orientation days, and midpoint check-in and the graduation. So besides those like mandatory meetings, they can choose to have a mentor meeting or have a neighborhood that we talk about, or come to like a lot of our workshops, speaker events, and office events.
Yeah,
and you can also do it virtually.
Yeah, you also mentioned like every year there's 3 cohorts, right? What are the time frame and what should be the application timeline?
Oh, I think that's a question that should be asked because the application just started yesterday. The current one started yesterday, which is May the 8th, May the 9th, on Friday. It's started May the 9th and it will end in June the 8th. So you have like a month to submit your application. And the interview process is probably going to take a month and a half. And the cohort will start this September, later this year, in the fall.
How about the other 2 cohort? Just like a rough time frame?
Oh, rough time frame. You're right. So the fall cohort starts like September and ends in December, and the spring cohort starts in January. Oh, actually February, and ends like around April. And the summer cohort starts in June, ends in August.
Yeah, like what's the whole interview process? Like how long it will take?
Yeah, the interview, as I mentioned, first we have a written application screening, and then the ones who are invited for the first round, it's a very short interview, like 6 minutes, to just get a sense of the team and the general ideas of the company. And after they pass first round, there will be second round where we will have a cultural interview. This is also very unique about StartX. Because we care so much about the culture of the community, we have a separate interview just on the culture. And then we have a technical interview based on the type of company, if it's a software company or hardware company, medical company, so they will have different type of technical interview. And then after that, we'll do a comprehensive reference check for people, especially if they have listed StartX other founders as their recommender. We will also talk to them and then extend the offer.
Sounds like very competitive process. So normally it will take like a month to finish, right?
At least a month and a half. And all the judges, by the way, are also volunteers from the community. And we try to be as balanced as possible. So we have maybe you will get to meet maybe, let's see, at least 4 to 8 founders or judges in the interview process.
Yeah. We're curious about the technical interview, right? Like, is it kind of like the Google type, give you some like very interesting and unique questions just to test out your logic, or like?
Yeah, it depends on the type of company. So I was involved in some medical, because my background was in healthcare. So I was also involved in some healthcare interviews. We would normally ask about their FDA process, their clinical trials, the customer segmentation, and like reimbursement, go to market, those kind of things. So very specific to the industry. It's also pretty short, like maybe 10 minutes most. So we are not going to be able to give them like a problem to work on the spot. But you never know, because those judges are also like on their own, right? We do have guided questions, but some of them might just come up with a tricky question. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds like it's more like a validate. Yeah, I think that's all our questions today, Tom.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope it sparked some inspiration for you. If you enjoyed our podcast, please like, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments. You are also welcome to join our WhatsApp listener group to dive deeper into the topics and exchange ideas with others. Bye.
Woo!